With within black households, it might have a whole different connotation maybe than in some white households, because we've had to deal with some other things.
I think freedom can be, many things to, many different people.
Doing what I love best, which is everything.
To live a free life. Freedom is something that everybody's supposed to have in life, to me.
Freedom comes from education.
Freedom to me is the ability to go and do whatever you want, within the law.
Freedom is the ability or the right to be able to express yourself, to be able to believe in what you want to believe in without fear of repercussions, to be able to worship the way that you want to worship without fear of someone trying to stop you.
For me, freedom, as I reflect on my heritage, it means the endurance of my forefathers and all that they went through. And when they arrived to this country, that was part of the pursuit of freedom. As I look in the later years of my life, I look at opportunities. That, to me, is freedom. As I look at my church engagement and church life, being a beacon in this community, that breeds freedom for me.
I would have to say it's access to opportunity, more so than anything else.
Freedom is being able to walk on any side of the street that I want, being able to work anywhere, being able to go anywhere. Freedom is having the freedom of mind to think of an idea and be able to see that idea through with no altercations or no outside influences. It's basically, freedom to me is yes, I can.
Well, I think freedom is being allowed to make the choices that will allow you to achieve in your lifetime as much as you possibly can.
In 1862, 110 blacks came on the Illinois Central Railroad to Elgin and settled in Elgin. They were invited here by the First Baptist Church of Elgin at the tail end of the Civil War. I had an aunt who came here before that group. She came through the Underground Railroad and settled here as an escaped slave.
A group of slaves back in 1866, brought up from Franklin County, Alabama, met and chartered the Second Baptist Church. It was through part of the effort of the First Baptist Church, who was instrumental in going down to Franklin County, Alabama, and bringing that group of contrabands, as they were called in those days, to the Elgin community. They formed the nucleus of the Elgin community.
These people who came here, coming out of slavery, you were allowed to be taught, allowed to learn, sometimes only one thing. You only learn to handle horses, you only learn to cook or make certain dishes, etc. And that's what you did. So when you left that place and came here, if no one needed someone to take care of horses, you couldn't find a job because that's all you knew. But my grandfather was very fortunate in that they were still building Elgin Watch Factory here. He got a job at the Elgin Watch Factory because everything that moved by horse and wagon. They called him drayman. He was a drayman at Elgin Watch Factory.
So there's not too many descendants left in Elgin of the original 110. The Hardings, Bosleys, the Wheelers, the Downs family, the Newsomes. Some of those are the families that are part of the original descendants.
Any sense you could say that slavery still does exist?
Well, obviously, from a physical sense, slavery doesn't exist in this country. in the traditional sense of the word. But I do think that slavery exists. But I think that in the cases where it does exist, I think that it's because people allow it to exist.
Like you said, it's not a physical thing, but it does exist mentally. So some people are trapped in their own mind thoughts and limited by their thoughts. So you can be enslaved. You don't have to be African American to have an enslaved thought.
We can drive within an hour of where we're sitting now and see entire communities that have no running water, that have no electricity, that have essentially no economy.
An example of slavery today that I would think of is obviously drugs. The community, if you pay attention to drugs, is usually in the poorer communities. And so I would say that's former slavery.
Discrimination walks hand in hand with prejudice.
It's denial of opportunity.
Discrimination is that attempt to limit one's freedom, is the antithesis of freedom for me.
Discrimination is, I think it's a disease. I think it's something that can be passed down from generation to generation, some knowingly, some unknowingly.
Do recall later on in the late 60s, early 70s, when we had racial problems at Larkin High and we had racial problems at Elgin High. One of the things, for all those years where they didn't have any black school teachers, counselors, anything like that, for many, many, many years, and I think that little ride at Elgin High helped motivate some people to get some black teachers. Now I think there's over 88 black teachers. There have been black principals. Ron O'Neill was the first black high school principal. And we ended up with a black superintendent of schools, which I never thought I'd see in my lifetime.
I think that it's come a long way. I don't think that his dream is dead. I think that there are more things that we can do to realize his dream.
I feel that we have made great strides. I feel that we have reached the mountaintop, as his speech goes, but I feel that now that we need to stretch and look over the mountaintop.
There's a false sense that we have in this country that poverty and lack of opportunity lies with others and not with us.
Dr. King's dreams was that every child would be judged by the content of their character, not the color of their skin. I can't say that today, in today's environment, when a little black child and a little white child, all right, walks into a public setting, all right, that they're judged solely by their character.
I protect freedom as much as I can with two things. One, my mouth. I'm talking all the time. I talk to people. I talk to youth groups. I talk to all kind of people. I talk churches. Anywhere anybody calls me, I speak. I speak at schools and colleges and high schools. The other way I feel I've done some of that is through my actions. My actions are not only going out talking to people and youth and other people, but I served over 11 years in the United States Marine Corps. And I think that action should say a little bit about what I feel about freedom.